People don't disappear because they're antisocial. They disappear because modern connection rewards speed, and the world quietly judges you based on that speed. Quick replies, easy banter, constant availability. These aren't conveniences anymore. They are signals. And when you don't match them, people don't ask who you are. They decide what you've become. If you're built for depth, you're speaking a language the system wasn't designed to hear. But from the outside, that doesn't read as depth. It reads as distance. And here's the dangerous part. You call what you feel peace. The world calls it pulling away. What feels like calm on the inside looks like disengagement on the outside. This video isn't about diagnosing your soul. It's about understanding the decision that forms about you before you ever open your mouth. For most of human history, connection wasn't a lifestyle choice. It was survival. Our ancestors didn't network. They lived in small groups where everyone depended on everyone. If you disappeared, someone noticed. If you struggled, someone had to care. Because tomorrow, it might be them. Back then, absence meant danger, and everyone knew the rules. Modern life quietly rewired those rules. Today, connection is built around convenience, speed, low friction. This doesn't make people shallow, but it does train them to read fast signals and make fast decisions. If you don't keep up, people don't confront you. They quietly update their expectations of you. If you're naturally reflective, if you process slowly, you start to feel like you're failing a test you never agreed to take. Not because you're bad with people, but because the environment rewards those who stay switched on. From the outside, this doesn't look like incompatibility. It looks like withdrawal, and that is where social decisions begin. This is where social architecture matters. It's not a personal label, it's an operating system. Not everyone thrives under the same rhythm. Some do well with fast, frequent contact. Others do better with space and depth. But when your wiring doesn't match what's rewarded, people don't see the mismatch. They see the result. You don't just lose touch. You drift out of the main current, quietly, gradually. And as you drift, people decide you chose distance. So when your life feels smaller, don't automatically assume you chose solitude as a virtue. It may mean you were filtered out by a system that prizes speed over depth, and people adjusted accordingly. This leads to the real question. When you step back and feel peace, what decision does that peace create in other people's minds? Is it read as self-mastery or as disengagement? This is the mistake many make when they start feeling calmer after stepping back. They assume calm automatically signals strength. But not all calm reads the same from the outside. Two people can look identical, both alone, both quiet. But the decisions others make about them are completely different. One form of being alone is flexible, like a steel cable. You aren't avoiding people. You aren't tense. You can step into closeness when it matters and step back without fear. From the outside, that reads as steadiness. Silence doesn't make you smaller. It makes you predictable in a good way. The other form is rigid, like a dry branch. You feel relief only because the pressure is gone. Because expectations are gone. Because no one can disappoint you again. From the outside, that doesn't read as peace. It reads as closure. The quiet feels safer, not richer. And people sense that brittleness, even if they can't explain it. This is where people misdiagnose themselves. Cutting off unhealthy relationships brings real relief. And that relief feels like growth. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it's just the nervous system exhaling after overload. Internally, that's regulation. Externally, it's read as withdrawal. Not because you mastered yourself, but because you removed the trigger. The difference isn't how many people you have. It's what happens when connection becomes possible again. If closeness feels neutral or interesting, people sense flexibility. If it feels heavy or dangerous, people sense protection. Neither makes you weak, but they lead to very different decisions about who you are. Protection feels stable. until life asks you to engage again. A new job, a change in health, a moment where you actually need someone. And suddenly, the calm people thought you had starts to look brittle. Your anxiety in solitude isn't a character flaw. It's proof your brain is old. For most of history, being alone wasn't a personality type. It was a survival problem. We evolved in groups where separation meant exposure, less protection, less food. Your nervous system learned one rule. If you're cut off, something is wrong. And when others see that alarm running, they don't call it biology, they call it distance. That rule still runs today. Modernity blurs this because you can be alone and be safe. But biology doesn't update just because your calendar is quiet. So when silence feels uneasy, don't turn it into a judgment about your character. And don't assume others won't notice the shift. Maturity isn't forcing that alarm to shut up. It's recognizing the alarm without letting it drive your behavior. If you obey it unconsciously, it will push you toward the wrong connections, the kind that quiet discomfort without building strength. The answer isn't collecting people, and it isn't disappearing. It is structure. A small number of real points of contact. Reliable, sustainable. Not noise, not constant access. A minimal network that signals stability to you and to others. Solitude stops being strength the moment it stops reflecting you back to yourself. Human beings don't understand themselves in isolation. They understand themselves through friction, through resistance. When solitude is healthy, it is porous. You can step out, you can step in. People can still read you. But when solitude becomes a closed system, you are no longer being tested. Your ideas meet no resistance. Your habits go unchallenged. And what feels like peace can quietly turn into stagnation. People get stuck here. They tell themselves they are selective. Sometimes it's not wisdom, it's fatigue. Not wanting drama is healthy. Not wanting reflection at all sends a different signal. Are you choosing distance to protect your standards, or because you no longer have the energy to be seen clearly? One leads to depth. The other leads to a quiet freeze. You don't need a crowd. You need a social architecture that holds. Because solitude can be a forge, but even a forge needs air. Many feel fine right now. Life is calm, but life doesn't stay in one season. The danger of having few connections isn't loneliness, it's rigidity. Independence covers a lot of gaps when things are stable. But when the floor tilts, and it will, you don't need a crowd. You need a structure that holds. If your life tilted tomorrow, what decision would others make about your structure? Would it hold the weight, or would it snap? Don't judge your soul. Audit what others are already reading.